Patrick Roy heads back to Montreal for an emotional homecoming, but what he has to say about this game may surprise you. We've got that and a whole lot more on today's Locked On Islanders podcast.
You're Locked On Islanders, your daily podcast on the New York Islanders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome, everybody, to the Thursday edition of the Locked On Islanders podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I want to thank everyone who makes Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts so you can get new episodes as soon as they drop. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. We have got a lot to discuss, a big night coming up as Patrick Roy heads back to Montreal. But first, if there's something Islanders related on your mind, if you have a question, a comment, maybe a topic you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, feel free to send us an email. The address, lockedonislanders@gmail.com. And if you leave your first name and where you're from, we're happy to mention you on the show when we discuss whatever's on your mind. You can also follow the show on X at Locked On Isles. You can follow me, Gil Martin, on X at Ice Wars, NYR VSNYI. We'll keep you up to date on all things Islanders all season long, and I am live tweeting during nearly every Islanders home and road game. So join me for some instant insight and analysis, and it's great to talk Islanders hockey with you, game time or anytime. Well, this is going to be a special night. The Islanders heading to Montreal to take on Les Canadiens tonight in Montreal, 7 o'clock Eastern time start. And of course, you could hear every moment of this game with the Islanders' hometown radio broadcast on SiriusXM. Just go to the SXM app and do a search for Islanders. But Patrick Roy, Islanders coach, heading back home, where he started his NHL career with the Canadiens, leading them to a couple of Stanley Cups, and actually the last goalie to lead a Canadian-based team to a Stanley Cup win, which happened all the way back in 1993. Hard to believe that it's been that long. And I know that's got to be driving a lot of hockey fans north of the border a little crazy. But, you know, here is a man who made himself an all-time great. He was, you know, played his best hockey with the Habs from 1984 all the way to 1995-96, where he was traded mid-season. He is from the province of Quebec, and, you know, this is going to make, you know, coached a lot in Quebec with the Remparts, coach, general manager, 2 stints there. This is going to be a very special occasion for Patrick Roy, and make no mistake, this is going to be a big deal for the fans in Montreal. And it will be very interesting to see how they greet him, whether or not there is some kind of video board presentation before the game gets underway, or even at some point during a break in the action. And I think, you know, this will be even more special for Patrick Roy. And, you know, you take it a step further. Martin St. Louis, who is also a native of the La Belle Provence, and who, you know, is coaching now the Canadiens. Here's what he had to say about Roy returning to Montreal tonight. We all admire him and idolize him. He meant a lot to me. And for the rest of the kids growing up here, He was kind of the backbone of the franchise for a long time. And I think it's going to be fun, said Brendan Gallagher of the Habs. There's going to be a lot of energy in the building. And there will be. It's going to be a very special occasion. And yet, here, surprisingly enough, is what Patrick Waugh himself had to say about this game. I don't want it to be about me. I want it to be about the Islanders. We're going there to win a hockey game. We're not going there to win for the coach. It's for our team. That's the reason why I don't want us to go to that morning skate. They're going to ask questions about me. They're going to say this and that. I don't need this, and they don't need that. So here is Waugh. This is only the third game that he's coaching this team, and he is already trying to deflect attention away from himself so that the focus can be on winning one hockey game. And I love that. I think that's absolutely the right attitude, but it is also a difficult thing to be that selfless, to actually say, hey, we're here to do a job. And even though this is super emotional for me, we're not here. This isn't about Patrick Waugh, even though everybody else is going to make it about Patrick Waugh. And barring the Canadiens and the Islanders meeting in the playoffs, and that is based on where both teams are in the standings right now, highly unlikely. Because even, the only way it happens is if the Islanders are a wild card and the Canadiens finish first in the division, or if these two teams meet in the conference final, and both of them would be a long shot to get there. So it's unlikely. But given the circumstances, the Islanders already played one game in Montreal back on December 16th, and they lost that game 5-3. But that means there are no more trips after tonight for the Islanders to Montreal. So homecomings this year, this is it. And obviously there is no longer an NHL team in Quebec City, although I still think Quebec City deserves an NHL team. The fans there were great, but that's another issue for another day. But realistically speaking, to have this event be so special to so many people who are going to be in the arena and, dealing with all of this, and Patrick Waugh is basically saying, yeah, this is a homecoming and this is exciting, but this is a business trip. We're here to take care of business, and taking care of business means earning 2 points in the standings, whether they cheer me or boo me, or whether whether I've played in this, city before, or I've never set foot in this city. The whole point is, whether we're playing Montreal or we're playing Seattle or we're playing Florida, we're here to get 2 points. And I have to respect Patrick Waugh for approaching things that way ahead of this game, when it would be so easy to make it about him. And the media and the fans in Quebec and Montreal, they're going to make it about Waugh to a large extent anyway. But you know what? Once the puck is dropped, once the game starts, it's a hockey game. And the Islanders have to get 2 points, especially after playing well but not getting 2 points on Tuesday night against Vegas. All right, we have got a lot more to discuss on today's show. We have, we're going to talk a little bit about Adam Pelech and why he has struggled so much this season, both before and after his injury. Plus, for our Islanders' birthday of the day, a Russian player who was with the team in the late 2010s, early 2020s, who had one of the more famous nicknames in Islander history. Let's see if you can guess who that is. We have got all that and a whole lot more coming up on today's Locked On Islanders podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by your friends at FanDuel. The NFL regular season has wrapped up, but there's still playoff time, and you can still get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And the app is so easy to use. There are so many different ways to bet. You can do a live same-game parlay. You could go to the Explore tab to find new bets, or head over to the Parlay Hub where you could find the most popular parlays. And there's even more if you check it out on the website. And you got the NFL, pro and college basketball, and you could use your knowledge of the Islanders on FanDuel. Check out the odds for tonight's game and the player props for tonight's game in Montreal. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe to the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Adam Pelech. And I have to admit, I have always been a fan of Adam Pelech. He has been consistent for most of his career. He is a solid defensive defenseman who will occasionally give you some offense. And yet this year, he missed roughly 20 games due to an injury. But even before the injury, there were issues with Adam Pelech's game. And look, he's played 24 games this year, hasn't scored a goal, only has 4 assists. That doesn't bother me. He's a 25 to 30 at, maybe a 20 to 25 point a year guy. If he plays a full season, he's not in the game primarily for his scoring ability. The problem, in my mind, is that he's been making a lot of mistakes defensively that we have not seen him make in the past. And you just look at the numbers. Not only does he have, only 4 assists in 24 games. Again, that isn't a big concern. It's below where you want him to be, but okay. He's -1. You want to know the last time Adam Pelech was plus minus in a season? And remember, there have been some, shaky Islanders teams over those years. I mean, the year Doug Waite was the head coach and the team was much more offensive minded and letting up a lot of goals, Adam Pelech was a +7. The last time he was a minus player on a season, he only played 44 games. We're going all the way back to 2016, 2017, when he was a -5 in 44 games. Now, he's only a -1. But since he returned from the injury, he has played in 8 games. He has not been a plus in any of them. He has been a minus in 6. He's been even in 2. And he is a -7 in 8 games played since his return from injury. And again, the minutes are down a bit. He's usually a 20. You look at his career numbers, he's usually going to play 21 minutes a game on average. 4 straight seasons before this year, that he was somewhere between 21 and 21:39 in ice time. But it's down to 1938. And obviously part of that is, hey, The guy's recovering from an injury. He missed significant time. It's going to take time for him to get back. But the problem is what we've seen from Adam Pelech, even before the injury, was too many turnovers, too many mistakes in his own zone that we never used to see or very rarely would see from Adam Pelech. And I'm willing to give him a little more time. I think after the All-Star break, which is what, one more game after tonight. But I think after the All-Star break, that's going to be 10 games since his return. That's enough time for Adam Pelech to be back and be comfortable. And it would not surprise me at all if he's playing through an injury where he's certainly not 100% yet, but he's toughing it out for the team, and I give him credit for that. But we need to see more of the old, consistent, shutdown version of Adam Pelech. And I will tie that in even further. I think the addition of Patrick Roy, who has basically made it his business to reduce turnovers and make the exit from the zone better, I think that is going to also help Adam Pelech. And I think it's going to help a lot of the Islanders as far as, simplifying their game and making things better as they try to transition from defense to offense. And here's what Pelech said after the loss to Vegas. The fundamentals under Patrick Roy kind of remain the same, but I think what I like and what the guys like about it is we have a chance to be more aggressive, trying to end plays quicker. The whole idea is you want to end plays quicker because if you give them 20 to 30 seconds to roll around in your zone, you end up being there for a minute or more. So there's an adjustment, but I really do think guys have picked it up quickly. And, we saw Pelech turn the puck over against Vegas, and it led to a goal. And I think we've got to see just a better performance from Adam Pelech. And when Ryan Pollock gets better, we need to see more from him as well. But, there's no question that the players know they need to start adding wins. And that is the bottom line. And here's what Patrick Roy had to say. And again, I like his approach. He has to mention turnovers, but he doesn't want to talk about them excessively. So here's what he said. The reality is, the more we're going to talk about turnovers, the more guys are going to be nervous. More guys are going to squeeze the stick. My message to the players this morning is that's why we want to work as a unit of 5. We want to make sure that if we open up for them, we give them easy plays. And if we do make turnovers, then we come back. So, we need to be better in that regard. It's not just defense. It's a team thing. And if we do it together, I know we will cut down on that being the turnovers. And we're not going to squeeze the stick as much. We're going to be more relaxed. Well, the Islanders need to be more relaxed. They've got to cut down on the giveaways. They've got to get Adam Pelech back to full strength. He really hasn't been the same since suffering the concussion last season. And I hope that he will be healthy enough after the All-Star break to start getting back to the Adam Pelech we know so well and we expect. And maybe he misses being paired with Ryan Pollock. Maybe, though, and I do believe strongly that the Patrick Roy system will be more advantageous for Adam Pelech than Lane Lambert's system was. And hopefully we do indeed see a difference there. But, we're going to find out, aren't we, over the next few weeks. We have got a lot more to get to. We are going to preview tonight's game in Montreal against the Habs. Hopefully, the Islanders do bounce back. And again, that game, 7 o'clock tonight, not 7:30. And you can catch every minute of the Islanders' hometown radio broadcast on SiriusXM. Just go to the SXM app and search for Islanders. So we're going to preview the game, and we've got our Islanders birthday of the day, all that and more still to come on today's Locked On Islanders podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Indeed. We're driven by the search for better, but when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/lockedon. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. You need to hire? You need Indeed. Locked On has launched the first ever 24/7 national sports streaming channel on YouTube. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe to the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. So Islanders and Canadiens here in Montreal, 7 o'clock Eastern time tonight. The goalies are expected to be Semyon Varlamov for the Islanders, Sam Montembeault for the Canadiens. But we'll see, again, last minute, those things sometimes do change. Be interesting to see how Varley handles his first game back from injury. And I got to give some credit to Martin St. Louis, the coach of the Canadiens. Here is a team that they're 2 games under NHL 500 right now. But when you look at the statistics, it's hard to understand how they've done that. They've lost 3 in a row right now, so the Islanders may be catching them at a good time. Goals for, 27th in the league. Goals against, 29th in the league. The power play is only 20th. They connect on a power play goal just 18.7% of the time. And the penalty kill is 28th in the league. They only kill off 73.8% of the power plays. Montembeault has been the starting goalie. He has 21 starts this year. He has a 3.11 goals against average and a .903 save percentage and a record of 10-7-4. Right now, Nick Suzuki leads the team with 39 points. Cole Caulfield has 16 goals, followed by Suzuki with 12 and Sean Monahan with 11. Right now, though, 3 losses in a row, and the Habs need to bounce back. And I'm sure the emotion of Patrick Roy's return tonight will probably excite the Canadiens and the fans in Montreal. So what effect it'll have on the team remains to be seen. The line combinations for the Canadiens, Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, and Juraj Slafkovsky are the top line. The second trio, Sean Monahan, the center, Joshua Waugh is the left wing, Joel Armia is the right wing, Jake Evans, Tanner Pearson, and Josh Anderson, the third line, and then Raphael Harvey-Pinard, centers Michael Pezzetta and Brandon Gallagher on the fourth line. David Savard and Michael Matheson are the top defense pairing, Jaden Struble and Caden Goulet, the second pairing, and Arbor Xhekaj and Jonathan Kosovic are the third pair. The goaltenders, Jake Allen and Sam Montembeault, right now on IR. Tanner Pearson, Kirby Doc, Alex Newhook, and Christian Dvorak. So that's the line combinations. And the Islanders, this is a game that they need to win. I think if you get off to a solid start by winning 2 out of 3 and playing well for the most part in defeat against Vegas, you're really starting to build more confidence for this Islanders team. And you're getting the Canadiens when they're a little bit down after losing 3 in a row. They're kind of falling back in the standings. They're now 6th in the Atlantic Division. It will certainly be an emotional and interesting game. And the Islanders have to be ready. They can't be distracted by all the attention Patrick Roy is going to get. You know, you have some Islanders players, by the way, who this is kind of a homecoming for. J.G. Pageau, for one. Matthew Barzal is actually not. He's from the West Coast. But J.G. Pageau, Julien Gauthier, those guys, certainly, there's a little more emotion coming home and playing against a team from your home province. So that will be interesting and a little extra juice added to the game for those players. Time now for our Islanders birthday of the day. And here is one more clue before I tell you who it is. Well, hello. Yeah, we're a couple of days late, but Tuesday was the 37th birthday of Uncle Leo Komarov, the Estonian native, a 6th-round pick of the Canadiens back in 2006. Started his career in the KHL before joining the Maple Leafs in 2012, 2013. Obviously, Lou Lamoriello was there at the time, and when Lou came to the island, he brought Uncle Leo with him. Uncle Leo was with the Islanders for 4 seasons, well, 3 full and 1 game in a 4th before heading back to the KHL. And now he is playing this year, still active in Finland with HIFK Helsinki. For his NHL career, 491 games, 63 goals, 170 points, 207 penalty minutes, add 59 playoff games, most of them with the Islanders, more than 40 were with the Isles. 2 goals, 9 points, 45 penalty minutes. And Uncle Leo, much more of a checking forward, even though he did spend some time on the top line, mainly because the Islanders didn't have anybody else to fit in there. We look at one of Leo Komarov's better games as an Islander. We go back to the Barclays Center, November 15th, 2018. The Islanders hosting the New York Rangers. Henrik Lundqvist gets the start. Thomas Greiss, the goalie for the Islanders. And in this game, Uncle Leo with a goal, an assist. It's the game-winning goal. He's a +3, and he has 2 shots on goal in 16 minutes and 12 seconds. His goal coming midway through the 3rd period from Valtteri Filppula and Anthony Beauvillier. That goal put the Islanders up by a score of 6-3, but the Rangers scored twice to make it 6-5 before Cal Clutterbuck ended it with an empty net. As for the assist, he set up Anthony Beauvillier early in the 2nd period. So Uncle Leo Komarov, is our Islanders' birthday of the day. And even though we're a couple of days late, happy 37th to Leo Komarov. I want to thank everyone again for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. Everydayers, tomorrow on the show, we will have our key takeaways from tonight's game against Montreal. Plus, we will have a full preview of Saturday's game back at the UBS Arena against Florida. And that is the last game the Islanders will play before the All-Star break. But hey, even during the All-Star break, we're here every Monday through Friday bringing you the latest Islanders news and analysis. So, and we'll talk about the All-Star game and what, Matthew Barzal is going to do when he's there. So we will have all things Islanders covered for you, even during the break. Until then, have a great day, everybody. Stay safe And of course, let's go Islanders.